Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a wolf. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the top right side, draw another circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle too. Make this circle about twice as big as the head circle. The bottom left side of this circle should be hidden behind the head circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video to draw at your own pace. To the right, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Make this circle about the same size as the head circle. Don't place the body circles too far apart or the torso will be too long. Inside the head circle, draw a curved horizontal line. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features. At the top, draw a curved vertical line for another construction guide. On the bottom half of the head, draw a small circle as a guide for the muzzle. The bottom part of this circle should be outside of the head. Under the head, draw a curved line as a guide for the lower jaw. This guide should be similar to an upside-down arc. On top of the head, draw 2 small triangular shapes as guides for the ears. The ears should be big in relation to the head. Under the front part of the body, draw a long sloping line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the top part of the line to indicate a joint and then bend the bottom for the foot. To the right, draw a long angled line as a guide for the other front leg. Bend the line a couple of times to indicate the raised foot. Under the circle on the right, draw another long angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Bend the middle of the line to the right to indicate the joints. To the left, draw a similar line as a guide for the other hind leg. Bend the line to indicate the joints and foot. Draw a line on top of the head that connects to the body. Connect the body circles using curved lines to create the guide for the torso. The line at the bottom should be longer and more curved. On the right side of the body, draw a long wavy line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch 2 small ovals for the eyes. Place the eyes on top of the horizontal construction guide and on either side of the vertical guide. When you get the sizes and positions of the eyes right, darken the shapes. Draw an angled line over each eye for the brow. Darken the bottom edges of the ovals. The eye on the left should be slightly smaller because the head is turned. As you darken the shapes, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eyes. Curve the inner lines upward for a furrowed brow. Leave the insides of the eyes blank for a spooky look. Draw a couple more curved lines above the eyes to make the brows thick. The brow on the left should be slightly smaller because the head is turned. Use a few small angled lines at the top to create a furry texture. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small circle for the nose. Draw the nose close to the bottom edge of the initial circle. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the shape. On the sides of the nose, draw 2 lines that curve inward for the nostrils. Draw a short vertical line at the bottom of the nose. Above the nostrils, draw a short horizontal line. Use the small circle as a guide to draw the muzzle. Darken the bottom edge of the circle to create the front of the muzzle. Extend the left side of the muzzle up toward the eye. On the right side, curve the tip of the line down for the mouth. Draw a couple of lines on the side of the nose for the base of the whiskers. Under the front part of the muzzle, draw a curved line for the top gums. At the bottom, draw a series of tiny triangular shapes for the front teeth. On the sides of the gums, draw bigger triangular shapes for the canines. You can make the canines bigger if you'd like. Draw a couple of small triangular shapes near the bottom edge of the lower jaw for the lower canines. Make the tips of the canines pointy. Between the canines, draw a couple of small triangular shapes for more teeth. Draw a curved line around the teeth for the open mouth. Follow the shape of the initial guide as you draw this line. Darken the bottom guide to create the lower jaw. Inside the mouth, draw a couple of curved lines for the tongue. On the side of the mouth, draw a couple of small circular shapes for the molars. Space out the shapes of the molars. Use the triangular shape on the top right side as a guide to draw the ear. Darken the shape but make it more curved. Draw a series of short strokes within the shape for the fur that's inside the ear. Add more short strokes at the bottom for the furry base of the ear. Darken the shape on the left for the other ear. Draw a series of short strokes inside the shape for fur. Above the head circle, draw a few small triangular shapes for clumps of fur. Don't make the shapes too big. Draw the sides of the head using more small triangular shapes. Change the orientation of the triangles on the sides of the head. Make the triangles different sizes. Follow the path of the initial circle as you draw these shapes. Make the sides of the head wider than the initial circle. Connect the bottom edges of the head to the muzzle. The bottom of the head should be curved. Leave a few gaps as you draw these shapes. Draw a few curved lines inside the muzzle for creases and wrinkles. These lines will emphasize the snarl. Draw a few lines above the eyes too. Use the second line from the left that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Make the leg white at the top and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. The top of the leg will be inside the body. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Use curved lines to indicate the muscle structure. On the right side, draw a series of small triangular shapes to create a furry texture. Don't make these shapes too big. Add a curved line at the top for the shoulder. At the bottom, draw a series of short curved lines to separate the toes. On the bottom of each toe, draw a small pointy shape for the claws. The toes should point down as the foot steps forward. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. The top part of the leg will be hidden behind the body. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Bend the lines to indicate the joints. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of curved lines to separate the toes. On the tip of each toe, draw a small pointy shape for the claws. Use the angled line on the far right side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Make the top of the leg wide and then gradually make it thinner toward the bottom. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. Curve the shape around the guide to create the joints. The middle of the leg should slope to the right. At the bottom, draw a series of short curved lines to separate the toes. The toes on this foot are facing forward. On the tip of each toe, draw a small triangular shape for the claws. Use the line on the left as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. On the tip of the foot, draw a couple of curved lines and pointy shapes for the toes and claws. Use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Draw a series of small triangular shapes throughout the body to create clumps of fur. Add more fur inside the body around the front leg. Use the curved line on the right side as a guide to draw the tail. Draw a series of small pointy shapes along the path of the guide to create the shape of the tail. The shape of the tail should be wide. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Draw a few dark lines under the eyes for the pattern on the fur. Use a dark value to shade the nose. Leave a thin section on top of the nose blank for a highlight. Use the medium value to shade the top part of the head. Leave the bottom half of the head and the area around the eyes blank for the white fur. Add a light value along the bottom part of the head to create shadows. Shade the top part of the body using a medium value. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. Leave a few sections on the body blank to create highlights on the fur. Use a darker value throughout the body to create shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Pick a light source as you shade so that the shadows are consistent throughout the body. Here the light source is coming from the top, so most of the shadows will be on the underside of the shapes. Use a light value to shade the white fur on the legs. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. Use a dark value to shade the tail. Darken the final lines to emphasize the shapes. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result, and that's it for the wolf. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com, where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.